I think what Manning did was appalling. I think he betrayed his fellow members of the military, he betrayed the Foreign Service, and he should be going to prison, and he will be.
I think the verdict, and I also think that Jeff's comments kind of underscore what a lot of people really hate about Washington, which is that if you're sufficiently rich and powerful and well-connected in Washington, the laws don't apply to you, you don't get punished. The only people who do are people like Bradley Manning. The theory that the government used, one of which was not successful, but many of which were, was that he engaged in espionage and helped the enemy because the material that he caused to be published on the internet ended up being helpful to Osama bin Laden. Bob Woodward has written book after book after book and has become extremely rich by publishing secrets way more sensitive than anything Bradley Manning ever published. Nothing that Manning published was top secret, unlike what Bob Woodward publishes, and yet nobody I would ever talk about Bob Woodward the way that Jeff Toobin just did, or his sources, because he's in good standing in Washington. His sources are high-level officials in the White House. They leak all the time. Washington is nothing about leaks, and yet the only people who get punished for it are people who are marginalized in Washington, and that's a broader reflection of how the law is abused.
This is the first ever espionage conviction against a whistleblower in the United States. It is a dangerous precedent and an example of national security extremism.
The aiding of the enemy charge, I think, was prosecutorial excess.
Sometimes classified information shouldn't be classified.
He did it for the good of his country. He did it for the good of the whole humanity.
He betrayed his trusted soldiers and put their lives at risk. And I think it was a fair trial, and I believe he deserves to be punished.
Bradley Manning is a whistleblower. He should not be prosecuted. The people who committed the crimes ought to be prosecuted.
He betrayed his country.
I think he's an American hero.
Hopefully he never sees the light of day.
Deserves the Nobel Peace Prize.